Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. It's always such a pleasure to have you here again. Tonight, we'll be drifting together into a gentle journey, a journey that combines the quiet comfort of sleep science with the deep mysteries of the universe, specifically what NASA discovered on the dark side of the moon. Now, whether you're listening to unwind after a long day, or you've come here hoping for sleep to finally arrive, I want you to know that you're in exactly the right place. This time we share together is about slowing down, about giving your mind permission to soften its grip, and letting your body gently sink into the calm it's been craving. I like to remind you at the very start, you don't need to remember anything I say tonight. This is your time, not for effort, not for pressure, but for gentle curiosity. If you drift off halfway through a thought, that's not only allowed, it's the whole point. Imagine, right now, that you're part of a quiet, global community. Listeners from every corner of the world, some in London or New York, some in quiet towns, some may be listening in the middle of the night, others just at the edge of dawn. Together, we form this invisible circle, a gathering of curious minds, linked by our shared search for rest and by our shared love for learning. I would love to know where you're watching from and what time it is where you are. It's comforting to remember that even when the world feels scattered, we can find connection through these simple, shared rituals. Tonight's journey blends two things your mind loves: the science of sleep and the vast mystery of space exploration. We'll wander through the landscapes of your own brain, the hidden highways your neurons travel while you sleep, and then, gently, we'll look outward to the silent shadows of the moon, to what NASA uncovered on its far, unlit side, the side that never faces Earth. That place has always captured human imagination. And when science meets mystery, your brain relaxes in a different way. It learns while it dreams. So, let me invite you now to make yourself comfortable. If you're in bed, adjust your pillow, pull the blanket just right. Allow your shoulders to soften and feel your jaw unclench. If you're sitting or lying somewhere else, that's perfectly fine too. Wherever you are, this space is yours. Safe, quiet, and unhurried. Take a slow breath in, hold for a moment, and then let it melt out like warm air escaping into the night. Feel that exhale as a small release of the stress you've been carrying, and notice how your body already knows that it's allowed to slow down. And so, with the world outside gently fading, we begin our shared exploration through sleep, through science, and into the mysteries of the moon. Together, let's begin. Have you ever wondered what your brain is truly doing when you drift into sleep? You close your eyes, the world fades, and yet somehow your mind begins an invisible journey. Is it simply shutting down, like a machine powered off? Or is it traveling somewhere deeper? And when NASA points its instruments to the far side of the moon, hidden from human eyes for millennia, do you think there might be a connection between the mysteries out there in space and the mysteries unfolding within your own sleeping brain? Picture yourself lying in a meadow at night, the grass cool beneath you, the sky stretched wide above. In front of you, the moon is rising, its silver glow spilling across the field. But as you look closer, you realize you only ever see the same face. One half of the moon forever turned toward Earth, the other hidden in eternal shadow. And in this moment, as your body relaxes deeper, you begin to imagine that just as the moon has its dark, unseen side, so does your brain, a part that only reveals its mysteries when you are asleep. When you fall asleep, your neurons, those tiny messengers inside your brain, don't simply rest, they fire in intricate patterns, weaving delicate rhythms like a quiet symphony. In fact, scientists discovered that sleep is not the absence of activity, but a carefully orchestrated performance of memory building, emotional regulation, and even body repair. Imagine a bustling city that appears silent at night, the shops closed, the streets quiet, but underground. Workers are repairing roads, cleaning water systems, updating power grids. That is what your sleeping brain is doing. It's the silent maintenance crew keeping you alive and prepared for tomorrow. One fascinating detail is the role of slow-wave sleep. This is the deep, restorative phase when your brain cells pulse together in slow, sweeping waves. It's like the ocean tide, drawing waste products out of your neural tissues. Did you know that your brain has its own cleaning system, called the glymphatic system, during the day? Toxins and byproducts build up as you think, feel, and act at night while you rest. Your neurons shrink slightly, opening channels for cerebrospinal fluid to wash through. This nightly cleansing may even be your brain's way of protecting itself from long-term diseases. So every time you drift into deep sleep, your brain is literally rinsing itself clean. And here's something magical. Dreams. Those mysterious stories you wander through at night, they may not just be random nonsense. Research suggests they help your brain sort and connect memories. It's as though your mind is placing books back onto shelves after a long day of reading. Some scientists even believe that dreams allow you to test out scenarios, running safe rehearsals for challenges you might face in waking life. So in a way, your brain is your own private NASA, exploring the uncharted spaces of your inner universe while your body lies still. Now, let's pause and reflect. What is the dark side of the moon but a reminder that not everything is meant to be seen in daylight? Just as the moon hides one face from us, your brain hides entire processes behind the curtain of sleep. And isn't it comforting to know that your body is wiser than your conscious mind? That while you rest, it continues working faithfully, silently, beautifully. It whispers through neurons. It tides through slow waves. It paints dreams across the night sky of your mind. And in this reflection, perhaps you feel a little smaller and yet more connected, a part of something vast, where sleep is not wasted time, but an intimate dialogue between you and the cosmos. So, as we move onward, let this thought stay with you, that every night when you close your eyes, you are not just ending a day. You are stepping into a frontier of science and mystery. Just as NASA peers into the shadowed moon, you too are exploring your own hidden landscapes. And now, with that gentle curiosity in mind, let's continue drifting deeper into the story. Have you ever wondered why the far side of the moon was hidden from us for so long? Why ancient civilizations saw the same glowing face in the night sky, night after night, yet never glimpsed the other side? And doesn't it feel mysterious, almost unsettling, that half of our closest celestial neighbor remained invisible until just a few decades ago? It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what else might be hidden in the places we can't see, whether in the universe or even within the folds of our own sleeping mind. Imagine now that you're standing beneath a star-filled sky. The moon is bright above you, suspended like a lantern in the darkness. But as you tilt your head, a strange thought settles in. You realize you have never seen its far side. No human eye, across all of history, had seen it directly until the 1960s. For thousands of years, we were staring at a mystery without knowing it. The moon spins at the same rate it orbits the Earth, a perfect synchronization known as tidal locking. That is why one face always looks at us, while the other forever turns away, silent, secret, and unseen. Doesn't it feel almost like the way your own subconscious turns away while you sleep? Hidden, active, yet unreachable, NASA knew that if we wanted to break through this cosmic curtain, we needed technology. In 1959, the Soviet Luna 3 probe took the first photographs of the far side, blurry, ghost-like images of craters and ridges. Humanity gasped, seeing for the first time a face of the moon that had never been seen. And decades later, NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mapped it in incredible detail. But here's the part that adds suspense. The far side is nothing like the one we see every night. It is rough, scarred, and ancient, while the side that faces Earth is marked with smooth, dark plains called Maria. The hidden side is jagged, peppered with craters. It looks older, more battle, and that raised questions that still puzzle scientists today. Why would one half of the moon look so different from the other? What cosmic story shaped this strange duality? And more intriguingly, why has nature hidden it from our eyes? Some researchers believe the Earth's gravity influenced how lava once flowed across the moon. Others suspect massive ancient impacts that reshaped only one side. But the truth is, we don't fully know, even now. There are mysteries in those craters, whispers of ancient collisions, echoes of cosmic history locked away. And if we pause for a moment, doesn't it remind you of sleep itself? The parts of your brain you see in waking life are like the near side of the moon. Familiar, illuminated, easy to describe, but the far side, your dreaming subconscious, your deepest memories, that part remains unseen, hidden until the quiet hours of the night, when dreams flicker like ghostly photographs across your mind, when neurons fire in strange, unexplored patterns, like the jagged terrain of the far side itself. Did you know that NASA's Apollo astronauts never set foot on the far side? Not because they didn't want to, but because communication with Earth is impossible from there. Radio signals cannot penetrate the lunar rock. So if an astronaut walked into those shadows, they would be utterly cut off. No voices, no lifeline, just silence. And isn't that what deep sleep sometimes feels like? That strange cut-off state, when you can't recall the moment you drifted off. When you wake and wonder where your mind disappeared to. Your brain, like an astronaut, had ventured to a place beyond communication. A far side within yourself. Now picture it. Your body is lying safe and still, but in your mind, neurons are traveling, exploring hidden regions, somewhere in that silent night. Your subconscious is like a lunar explorer, mapping craters of forgotten memories, walking ridges of half-remembered feelings, peering into canyons of unspoken thoughts. And perhaps, just perhaps, your dreams are the first photographs, blurry snapshots of your brain's far side. hints of what exists in the regions we cannot otherwise see. Let's step back for a poetic moment. The moon has always been a mirror for humanity. It lights our myths, our calendars, our tides. It shaped stories of gods and lovers. It guided travelers across oceans. And yet, for all those centuries, half of it was invisible. Isn't it humbling that something so close could still hide so much? And in the same way, isn't it comforting to know that your mind holds secrets? Not all of them need to be solved or explained. Some are simply meant to exist, to give you a sense of mystery, a sense that you are deeper than you realize. So next time you close your eyes, perhaps imagine yourself floating just above the far side of the moon, a quiet observer of the unknown. You drift over craters with no names. You watch mountains that have never seen earthlight. The silence there is pure, and in that silence you might feel something familiar. The quiet of your own thoughts, the stillness of your own body, the reassurance that even in mystery, you are safe as we leave this module behind. Let the thought linger that you, like NASA, are an explorer. Your sleep each night is not a void, but a journey into the hidden hemisphere of yourself. And though you may not remember the details, each time you awaken, you return carrying something unseen. The quiet work of your neurons, the mysteries of your dreams, and the calm assurance that the far side, though hidden, is always a part of you. Now let's drift deeper still, for the moon is not our only companion in the night sky. Beyond it stretch the planets, the stars. And in the next part of our journey, we'll explore how your body's rhythms, your own circadian clock, are in tune with the cosmic dance of light and darkness, and how the story of time itself is written both in the heavens and in your very cells. Have you ever wondered why you feel sleepier at night and more awake when the sun rises? It might seem obvious, almost too simple. But behind that simple rhythm lies a secret clock, one that ticks not in your wristwatch, but in every cell of your body. And if we look closer, if we really peel back the mystery, we'll see that your sleep is tied not only to your brain, but to the turning of the earth itself, and maybe even to the rhythm of the universe. Imagine yourself standing on a quiet shoreline. The ocean stretches out in front of you, vast and timeless. The waves rise and fall in endless rhythm, each one rolling toward the sand as though pulled by invisible hands. You look up and notice the moon above you, its silver glow reflecting off the water. And suddenly, you remember that these waves are not random. They follow the pull of the moon. The tide is a dance between Earth and its companion. And in a similar way, your body follows tides of its own. Waves of energy and sleepiness that move through you, guided by light, by time, by the silent turning of our planet. Scientists call it the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour cycle that shapes nearly everything you do, from the moment you wake up to when your hunger rises, to the hour your body quietly begins asking for sleep. This rhythm is controlled by a tiny cluster of neurons in your brain, right behind your eyes, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Imagine it like the conductor of an orchestra, guiding the tempo, making sure each instrument, each cell in your body plays in harmony with the others. And yet, here is where the suspense grows. This inner clock is not perfectly tuned on its own. Left without guidance, it can drift, just as a watch slowly loses time if not adjusted. So your brain looks for signals, clues from the world around you. The most powerful of these signals is light. When morning sunlight touches your eyes, it tells your neurons that a new day has begun. Your brain releases cortisol to wake you. Your body temperature rises. Your organs begin their daily work, and as night falls, your brain begins to release melatonin, the gentle hormone that whispers, "It is time to rest." Did you know that astronauts on the International Space Station see 16 sunrises and sunsets every single day? As they orbit Earth every 90 minutes, their circadian rhythms face enormous confusion. And NASA had to design careful light systems to help them keep track of time, because without light cues, the body's clock can slip into chaos. Isn't that fascinating? That something as simple as morning light or evening darkness is enough to keep an entire universe of cells aligned. Now pause with me and think of your own life. How often have you felt jet lag? That's strange. Heavy fog when you fly across time zones. It's not just tiredness. It is your circadian rhythm scrambling to realign with the sun. Or think about those nights when you stay up far too late. Your body feels awake but restless because you've tricked your internal clock with artificial light. Screens glowing long after the sun has gone down. You see, the body is ancient. It evolved to follow stars and suns, not glowing pixels. And yet, here you are, a creature of the cosmos, still guided by celestial rhythms, even in the modern world. Let's take this reflection deeper. When you sleep, you are participating in a rhythm as old as life itself. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the tallest tree, lives by cycles of light and dark. Plants open and close their leaves. Flowers follow the sun. Birds migrate according to shifting daylight. And your own brain, that delicate web of neurons, is simply joining the same cosmic dance. But here's where the mystery sharpens. What if sleep is not only for survival? What if it is a way for life itself to stay in harmony with the turning of planets and stars? Think of it. Your body could have evolved to remain awake constantly, to never pause, to never shut down, and yet it didn't. Instead, nature chose rest, as if insisting that balance between light and shadow is essential, not just for Earth, but for every living thing on it. Poetically speaking, you might say that sleep is your way of orbiting inward, of turning just as the Earth turns, of entering your own night sky. Every evening, your mind rotates into shadow, into dreams, and every morning it rotates back toward light. Isn't that a beautiful symmetry, that you and the planet beneath you are turning together, both finding renewal in cycles of darkness and dawn? And when you consider this, doesn't it bring comfort that you are not separate from the universe, but synchronized with it? Your yawns, your drowsiness, your sudden alertness when the morning comes, these are not flaws. They are reminders that you are woven into cosmic time. Your neurons tick like stars. Your hormones rise and fall like tides. Your breath matches the rhythm of days and nights. So tonight, as you rest, remember this, that when you drift into sleep, you are not alone. You are joining whales deep in the ocean as they dive to sleep. You are joining birds as they tuck their heads beneath their wings. You are joining entire forests that quiet their leaves in darkness. You are joining even astronauts who, despite orbiting at thousands of miles per hour, still feel the same pull to close their eyes. Because sleep is not only yours, it is universal. As we move forward, let us carry this thought gently, that sleep is not random, but an ancient inheritance. It is your body's way of keeping time with stars. And in the next part of our journey, we will dive into the hidden architecture of dreams, those surreal worlds that rise like landscapes in your mind, and explore how they mirror the unknown terrains of the universe. So now, take a deep breath, let the rhythm of night carry you, and let us drift deeper still. Have you ever wondered why we dream? Why your mind, instead of resting in silence, creates vivid worlds each night, worlds that can feel as real as waking life, sometimes comforting, sometimes unsettling, and yet always mysterious. What purpose could there be in such elaborate stories? And why do they vanish the moment you wake, like stardust dissolving into morning light? Close your eyes now, and imagine you are standing on the edge of a great desert at twilight. The air is cool, the sand stretching endlessly ahead. You take a step, and the ground shifts beneath you. Suddenly, the desert is no longer sand, but water. You are floating, drifting. The horizon bends in impossible ways. Time has no meaning here. One moment it is night, the next it is day, and yet you feel calm, because somehow you know you are inside a dream. Dreaming occurs mostly in REM sleep, the stage when your eyes dart beneath your eyelids, even though your body lies still. Your brain at this moment is almost as active as when you are awake. Neurons fire in bursts. The visual centers of your brain glow with activity. Your emotional circuits awaken, and your logical, critical mind grows quiet. It is a strange paradox. Your brain is alive with activity, but you are cut off from the outside world, like a spacecraft traveling through deep space, communicating only in symbols and images. Did you know that most people dream for nearly 2 hours every night? Even if they don't remember, that means in a lifetime. You may spend 6 years wandering through dreams, 6 years of your life spent exploring inner landscapes that vanish at dawn. Isn't that extraordinary? To think you are both a dreamer and an explorer, living 2 parallel lives, one in daylight, one in the secret corridors of sleep. Some scientists suggest dreams are the brain's way of processing memory, sorting through the clutter of daily life. Imagine a librarian carefully shelving books after a busy day, stacking them in the right order, discarding duplicates, and cross-referencing connections. That is what your sleeping brain may be doing. Your dreams are the whispered notes it scribbles in the margins. Others believe dreams prepare you for challenges. They let you rehearse danger in a safe place. A lion in a dream becomes a rehearsal for fear, a falling sensation, a test for survival. Your brain practicing, adapting, without you even realizing it. And yet, there is more suspense here, because, for all our science, we still don't fully understand dreams. Why some repeat, why some feel prophetic, why some vanish while others linger for years. Dreams remain, in many ways, the dark side of the moon within us, a realm hidden from the daylight of logic, a place we visit but cannot map, a territory alive with symbols, shifting, elusive, mysterious. Now pause and consider the dreams you've had. Have you ever noticed how they blur time, how they twist memory into something new, That old friend you haven't seen in years appears in a place you've never been. A voice speaks in words that make no sense yet feel meaningful. And though you may wake unsettled or inspired, the truth is, your brain has been doing something essential. It has been weaving you into a larger story, connecting fragments of your past with possibilities of your future, as if whispering that you are more than you imagine. Here is a fascinating thought. When astronauts sleep in space, their dreams are often reported as more vivid. Some describe floating dreams that mirror the weightlessness they feel. Others describe Earth as a glowing jewel they cannot reach. Even in dreams, their minds are tethered to their cosmic surroundings. It suggests that our dreams may be influenced by where we are in the universe, by gravity, by light, by silence. Isn't it haunting that your dream tonight might be shaped not only by your memories, but by the pull of the moon, the turning of the earth, and the starlight falling through your window? Let's reflect poetically. Dreams are like messages written in invisible ink, visible only in the night. They are letters from the deeper self, sealed with mystery. They remind us that life is not just made of waking hours, but also of hidden hours, that every night you return to a private theater, a theater where the laws of physics bend, where time is soft, and where the boundary between you and the universe blurs. And maybe that is the gift of dreams, that they remind us we are more than logic, more than routine. They allow us to feel awe, to experience stories beyond what reality allows, and to let go of control. Isn't it comforting that even when your waking mind feels tangled with stress, your dreaming mind is still at play, still creating, still wandering, still reminding you that imagination has no limits? So, tonight, as you drift into dreams of your own, remember, you are not simply sleeping. You are traveling. You are exploring your far side. You are mapping landscapes as mysterious as the moon's hidden craters. And though you may not recall them, they are part of your story, your secret history written in symbols, your nightly rehearsal for life. And now, as we close this module, let the thought soften in your mind that dreams are not distractions, they are companions. They are the quiet explorers working beside you. And in the next part of our journey, we will travel from the landscapes of dreams into the mystery of memory, to understand how your brain, in the silence of sleep, writes and rewrites the story of who you are. So breathe deeply, feel the night around you, and let yourself drift further, deeper into the story. Have you ever wondered how your mind remembers, how it gathers the fragments of your days, the laughter, the words, the mistakes, the triumphs, and carefully stores them away so that tomorrow you will still know your name, your home, your story? Without memory, you would wake each day as a stranger, not knowing who you are. And yet, isn't it astonishing that this delicate work of building your identity happens most powerfully not while you are awake, but while you sleep? Picture yourself standing in a vast library at night. The shelves are endless, stacked high with books that represent every moment of your life. Some books are neatly bound. Others are loose stacks of paper, scattered and fragile. You can hear the soft hum of unseen workers moving quietly among the aisles, carefully filing, repairing, reshaping. These workers are your sleeping neurons, and while you rest, they are busy building you. Again and again, every single night when you fall asleep, your brain begins sorting through the memories of your day. Some are discarded, like old scraps of paper tossed aside. Others are reinforced, written more deeply into the shelves. Did you know that scientists have discovered something remarkable? That during deep sleep, the hippocampus, the memory's temporary storage center, whispers to the neocortex. It is like one librarian passing notes to another. Remember this, file that, erase this fragment, keep this face, all happening in silence, invisible to you, and yet without it, your life's story would unravel. Think about this. Every night you are rewriting yourself. Every night your brain is polishing the pages of your autobiography. Isn't it haunting to realize that who you are today is partly shaped by how well you slept last night? Sleep is not just rest, it is self-construction, a quiet sculptor carving memory into the stone of your identity. But here lies the suspense. We still don't fully understand how memories are chosen. Why does a trivial song lyric linger for decades, while a meaningful conversation fades? Why do some childhood moments burn bright for a lifetime, while yesterday's details dissolve like mist? It is as though the brain is not simply archiving, but editing, selecting what belongs in your story and what must vanish. Some neuroscientists suggest emotion acts as the guide, that memories charged with feeling, joy, fear, sorrow, wonder, are tagged for preservation, while neutral ones are quietly erased. Your sleeping brain is not a neutral librarian. It is a poet choosing which images to keep, which scenes to amplify, which chapters to erase. So the book of you will not just be accurate, it will be meaningful. Have you ever woken from sleep with a sudden clarity? A problem that seemed unsolvable yesterday feels lighter today, as though an answer emerged while you weren't looking. This is another gift of sleep while you drift through dreams. Your brain is quietly weaving connections between memories, linking ideas that seemed distant, finding patterns hidden in the noise. It is as if your sleeping mind is a detective, solving mysteries by candlelight while you rest. This is why so many scientists, writers, and artists find inspiration in dreams and mornings, because sleep has rearranged the puzzle pieces, and when they wake, the picture is suddenly clearer. But memory in sleep holds darker mysteries too. There are nights when trauma, instead of being softened, repeats in the theater of dreams, when painful memories replay again and again, as though the brain is trying and failing to file them away. It reminds us that memory is not perfect, that the librarians of the mind sometimes stumble, and that the same process that gives us comfort can also give us nightmares. Isn't that unsettling? That sleep is both a healer and a tormentor, a sculptor and a shadow. Astronauts have reported that their memories in space feel altered. The lack of normal day-night cycles, the silence of the cosmos, the floating sensation of weightlessness, all seem to affect how they recall events. Some describe Earth memories with unusual vividness, as if distance sharpens the emotional imprint. Others report a dreamlike blur, where days merge into one another. This suggests that memory is not only about neurons, but about environment, about rhythm, about our place beneath the sky. It makes you wonder, if memory on Earth is shaped by the turning of the planet, by light and dark, by gravity itself, then who are we? When those patterns change, what kind of story would the mind tell in a different world? Pause now and reflect on your own memories. Think of one from childhood. Notice how it feels less like a fact and more like a story, perhaps blurred at the edges, perhaps brighter in emotion than in detail. This is the artistry of the brain. To take facts and paint them with feeling, to turn raw data into the narrative of your life. Sleep is the canvas on which this painting is refreshed each night. Without it, the colors fade, the shapes dissolve. The picture of you grows faint. Isn't it extraordinary that something as ordinary as going to bed is in truth an act of renewal, that as you surrender to the dark, your brain is quietly telling you again who you are, reinforcing the faces you love, the skills you've learned, the stories you tell yourself. It is as if each night you are being gently reminded, this is your name, this is your life, this is your path. And yet the mystery remains. What is forgotten? What is erased? What slips through the cracks of the librarian's hands? We wake each morning with only fragments, and perhaps that is merciful, because memory, if it were total, would be unbearable. Imagine remembering every detail of every day, every word spoken, every glance. It would drown you. Instead, the brain is kind. Sleep edits, sculpts, and gives you just enough to carry forward, so that you may walk into tomorrow, lighter, clearer, still yourself. As you listen now, feel the comfort in this thought, that sleep is not simply a pause, it is an author, writing and rewriting your autobiography, shaping the chapters you will keep, choosing which moments will define you, and gently erasing what you no longer need, so the story of you remains whole, even as the years turn. And now, as this module closes, we stand ready to step deeper from memory into something even more mysterious, into the realm where time itself begins to bend, where the rhythm of your body, the cycles of the universe, and the mystery of circadian patterns weave together to show us that we are not only shaped by sleep, but synchronized with the cosmos itself. So take a breath, feel your own memory settling quietly, and prepare to journey further into the ticking clock of the universe within. Have you ever wondered why your body seems to know the time, even without a clock? How you feel alert in the morning, sleepy at night, or restless when you cross time zones? It is as though your body is carrying a secret watch, one written not on your wrist, but inside your very cells. And here lies the wonder, that your inner timepiece, the rhythm that guides your sleep and waking, is not just a human invention, it is a cosmic inheritance, written into you by the turning of the earth beneath the stars. Imagine yourself standing on a cliff at night, the ocean below moving with the tide. The sky is stitched with constellations. You can feel the slow spinning of the planet, even if you cannot see it. This gentle rotation, day into night, light into shadow, is more than scenery. It is the very heartbeat of your biology. Your body, like all life, is tuned to this turning. And even as you rest tonight, that clock is ticking deep inside. Scientists call this rhythm the circadian cycle, from the Latin circa, meaning about, and diem, meaning day. It is the internal 24-hour rhythm that guides not only your sleep, but your hunger, your temperature, your hormones. Did you know that every cell in your body carries its own molecular clock? A tiny loop of genes that switch on and off in rhythmic waves. It is like millions of microscopic musicians, each playing their own part, but together forming the orchestra that is you. And at the center of it all, hidden deep within your brain, is the conductor, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of neurons no larger than a grain of rice, yet powerful enough to govern the timing of your entire life. But here's where the mystery deepens. That tiny conductor takes its cues from light itself. When dawn comes, light enters your eyes and whispers to the brain, "Wake, it is time." When night falls, darkness signals, "Rest now, it is time." This dance of light and shadow has been happening for billions of years, long before humans existed. It shaped the sleep of creatures in the sea, the foraging of animals on land, and now it shapes you. You are, in essence, a child of Earth's rotation, your biology spun from the wheel of the cosmos. But what happens when this rhythm is broken? When you stare into glowing screens long after sunset, when you fly across oceans and land in another dawn, when you work nights and sleep by day, your inner orchestra falters. The musicians lose their place, the melody wavers. Scientists have found that long-term disruption of circadian rhythm can lead to anxiety, memory issues, even illness. It is as if ignoring the Earth's turning slowly pulls you away from its harmony. Isn't it haunting to realize that every late night, every missed dawn echoes across your very cells? And yet, in this realization, there is also comfort, because the rhythm can be restored. Your inner timepiece can be reset, like a compass finding true north. All it needs is the gentle reminder of light, the rising sun on your face, the dimming of lamps in the evening, the willingness to move with, rather than against, the cosmic tide. This means that each morning you step outside, you are not simply waking, you are reconnecting, synchronizing your inner world with the great celestial clock that has always been. Astronauts have faced this truth in a way most of us never will. In space, orbiting Earth, they see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. Can you imagine the confusion to the body, the blurring of time itself, without steady day and night? Astronauts must rely on artificial schedules to remind their bodies when to sleep, when to wake. But even then, many report strange dreams, unusual fatigue, as though their cells long for the rhythm of the turning Earth. This reveals something profound, that we are not merely observers of cosmic cycles. We are participants. We are written into them, and without them, we begin to unravel. Pause for a moment and feel your own rhythm. Notice your breath, slow and steady. Notice the pull of your body toward rest as night deepens. This is your circadian clock whispering, reminding you that you belong to something greater, that you are not apart from the cosmos, but moving with it, turning with it, sleeping and waking with it. And here is a thought, both comforting and suspenseful. If every cell of your body is ticking, marking time in harmony with Earth, then perhaps you are more than an individual. Perhaps you are an instrument in the grand orchestra of life itself. And when you surrender to sleep tonight, you are not falling into emptiness. You are returning to the rhythm, to the tide, to the song of the planet beneath you. As we drift onward, let this thought carry you, that sleep is not only restoration, it is alignment, and that every night you are not just resting. You are tuning yourself to the cosmic clock, the same rhythm that guides oceans, forests, stars, now preparing you to journey further. into the next mystery, where dreams themselves become windows, not only into the mind, but into realms we still barely understand. So breathe deeply, let your inner timekeeper tick gently, and let us drift into the dreamscapes waiting beyond. Have you ever woken from a dream and wondered where you had just been? Your eyes open, your ceiling looks familiar, and yet for a few seconds, your mind lingers in a place that feels impossibly real. Maybe you were flying. Maybe you saw a face long gone from this world. Maybe you stood in a city that never existed, and still the emotions felt genuine. Your heart raced, your breath deepened, even though it was all inside your mind. Isn't it haunting to think that each night you slip into a universe that exists nowhere except within you? And yet it feels as real as waking life. Picture yourself walking through a quiet forest at dusk, the trees tall and endless, the air cool with a faint mist ahead. A narrow path opens into a clearing, and there a door stands, freestanding, unconnected to any wall. When you step through, you find yourself in a world both familiar and strange. This is the sensation of dreaming, a crossing from the waking world into the endless landscapes of your imagination. Scientists call this phase REM sleep, rapid eye movement. It is when your brain becomes most active, your eyes dart beneath your eyelids as if watching invisible scenes. Your muscles, however, are gently paralyzed, protecting you from acting out what your mind is exploring in this state. Your brain's electrical patterns look almost identical to wakefulness, but the rules of physics and logic bend your memories, and stories unfold without your conscious control. Did you know that on average you will spend 6 years of your life dreaming? 6 years wandering inner worlds that vanish upon waking, and yet we still do not fully understand why. One theory suggests that dreams are your brain's rehearsal stage, that while you dream of running, hiding, speaking, you are strengthening neural pathways, preparing for challenges you might face in waking life. Another theory suggests that dreams are emotional regulators, that when you relive fears, sadness, or joy in dreams, your brain is soothing them, turning sharp edges into softer shapes, so that when you wake, you can carry those feelings with less weight. But here lies the suspense. Dreams are not only random rehearsals or emotional therapy. There are stories of people discovering solutions in dreams. The chemist Kekule dreamed of a snake biting its own tail, and awoke with the structure of the benzene ring. Paul McCartney claimed the melody of yesterday came to him in a dream. Mathematicians, inventors, artists have all spoken of dreams as gifts, as though the mind, when free from waking rules, becomes a portal to hidden knowledge. It makes you wonder, are dreams merely the echo of neurons firing, or are they windows into something deeper, something we are not yet able to measure? Some neuroscientists argue that dreams help consolidate memory, that when you dream of fragments of your day, your brain is stitching them into the larger tapestry of your story. That is why people studying for exams or practicing music sometimes find themselves dreaming about books or instruments. The brain, in its nocturnal theater, is rehearsing, refining, making the fragile sturdy, and the vague clear. And yet, consider this unsettling thought. Why do dreams sometimes bring us faces of strangers, rooms we have never seen, worlds that feel ancient and yet new? Some researchers suggest that dreams pull not only from memory, but from imagination's deepest vaults, combining fragments of faces, streets, landscapes, until something new emerges. But others whisper a more mysterious possibility, that dreams might connect us to archetypes, shared symbols buried in the human mind across cultures. Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious, a hidden ocean of meaning, where all human minds might draw their imagery. If this is true, then perhaps your dreams are not entirely your own. Perhaps they are woven with threads from a story greater than yourself. Now, let us pause and wander into the dream's poetic reflection. Close your eyes and imagine your mind as a vast stage, velvet curtains drawn, lights dimmed each night. The curtain rises. Actors appear, costumes change, scenes unfold. The play is written as it is performed, no script, no rehearsal. And when the curtain falls, the memory dissolves. You awake with only whispers of what was performed. Isn't it beautiful that your brain, in its need to heal and imagine, creates art every night, an endless series of plays that no one else will ever see? You are the audience. And yet you are also the author, the director, the actor, the stage itself. There is comfort in this thought, that even when you are asleep, your mind is alive, painting, building, rehearsing, creating galaxies within itself, that perhaps you will never recall, but that still shape you when you wake. Perhaps this is why dreams are so often laced with awe, why they leave us unsettled or inspired, because they remind us that the self we know is only part of the story, that another self, quieter and stranger, is always waiting beyond the veil of sleep. And so we reach the gentle closing of this module, where the waking and dreaming selves touch for just a moment. Think of how strange it is that as you listen to my voice now, another part of your mind is already beginning to wander, already starting to drift, already preparing to create tonight's play. Perhaps it will be soft, perhaps vivid, perhaps forgotten by dawn, but it will happen, as certain as the turning of the earth. So let yourself soften, let yourself fall, and know that in your dreams tonight, you are stepping into a world as vast as the stars themselves. Have you ever noticed how time behaves strangely in dreams? A single nap may feel like an entire lifetime. A brief moment of sleep can carry you through years of story. And yet, when you wake, only minutes have passed on the clock by your bed. It is as though sleep itself bends the fabric of time, shaping it, stretching it, turning it into something far stranger than the ticking of seconds and minutes. Imagine standing at the edge of a great river in waking life. The river of time flows steady and predictable, second after second, wave after wave. But when you fall asleep, it is as though the current divides. Some streams slow to a crawl, others rush forward like rapids. You may wander for hours in a dream, only to awaken and discover that the night is still young, and yet, in those wandering hours, you felt completely alive, completely present. Scientists have long wondered why dreams play with time. Electroencephalogram studies show that REM sleep, where most vivid dreaming occurs, lasts only minutes in early cycles. Yet within those minutes, entire landscapes can be imagined. Entire lives can be lived. How is this possible? One theory suggests that your brain compresses experience, that it removes the pauses and filler of real life, leaving only highlights. So what feels like a week is actually a stitched sequence of meaningful moments, a cinematic cut of life rather than the full recording. Another theory suggests that dreams bypass ordinary time altogether, that when neurons fire in unique dreamlike patterns, they create a sense of timeless immersion, like stepping into a pocket of consciousness detached from clocks. But here lies the deeper mystery. Why does time also distort in waking sleep-like states? Have you ever meditated or become so absorbed in music that hours slipped past without your noticing? The same occurs in states of flow. Artists painting, scientists calculating, even athletes training lose track of ordinary time. It is as though the brain, when deeply focused or deeply resting, stops counting seconds and begins measuring experience instead. Did you know that astronauts in orbit, circling Earth every 90 minutes, experience a strange relationship with time? Their bodies crave a rhythm of day and night. But outside their windows, the sun rises and sets 16 times in a single Earth day. To survive, they follow artificial schedules, sleeping when told, waking when told, yet still. Some report that dreams in space feel different, less bound by duration, more fluid, almost as though the absence of a natural horizon frees the dreaming mind from earthly clocks. This raises the haunting question: is time as we know it not a universal truth, but a construct, something shaped by the turning earth, by sunrise and sunset, by our biology rather than the cosmos itself? Picture for a moment a pendulum clock in a darkened room. It ticks, steady and predictable. Now imagine the clock dissolving, the pendulum swinging not side to side, but in every direction at once. That is the sensation of dream time, unfixed, fluid, unmeasured, and yet real. Real enough for your emotions to respond, real enough for your memories to carry fragments into waking life. But here's where the suspense deepens. What if the distortion of time in dreams hints at the brain's hidden ability? What if time is not as rigid as we believe? After all, physics tells us that time itself bends near black holes in the vast speeds of relativity. Could it be that our minds, in sleep, are rehearsing these distortions, not with matter and energy, but with perception and imagination? Could it be that dreams are our consciousness experimenting with alternate shapes of time? Consider how often dreams collapse years into moments. You may find yourself as a child, then suddenly grown, then in a place you've never been, with no clear passage between. The dream does not care for continuity. It does not need cause and effect, and yet the story feels whole. This suggests that time may not be as linear as we insist in waking life. Perhaps our insistence on clocks and calendars is only one way of perceiving the flow. Perhaps the dreaming brain whispers, there are other ways to experience existence. Pause for a moment. Feel the paradox that while your body rests in bed, seconds ticking away on the clock, your mind may be wandering centuries, living entire lifetimes, or conversely, that you may dream of something vast and epic, and awaken to find that only moments have passed. Doesn't that fill you with awe? That within you is a theater where time itself can be rewritten each night. And here is something even more haunting. Experiments have shown that in lucid dreams, When dreamers become aware they are dreaming, they can signal researchers with eye movements, a code of left-right-left inside the dream. They attempt to count seconds, and astonishingly, their internal counting often matches the real passage of time outside. This suggests that dream time is not entirely illusion, that while it bends, it still anchors to something deeper. What that something is, we still do not know. Isn't it beautiful that your nightly descent into sleep is also a journey beyond the rigid fences of time, that when you surrender to dreams, you step into a world where seconds can become centuries, where lifetimes can collapse into minutes, where clocks are no longer rulers but soft whispers. It reminds us that perhaps consciousness itself is larger than we imagine, that perhaps waking life is only one chapter, and dreams are another, both equally valid, both shaping who we are. So as this module closes, let this thought settle gently within you, that tonight, when you dream, you are not only exploring hidden landscapes of your mind, you are exploring hidden landscapes of time itself, that you are bending seconds into stories, moments into universes, and when you wake, though the dream dissolves, some fragment lingers, carrying with it the strange reminder that time is not as solid as we believe. That reality may be softer, more fluid, and more mysterious than our clocks will ever tell us. And now, as we drift toward the next chapter, we will follow this thread deeper still, from time to space, from dreams to the very stars themselves, where the cycles of the cosmos mirror our inner worlds. And we begin to see that sleep is not only personal, it is cosmic, that when you close your eyes, you are moving not just within your brain, but with the rhythm of galaxies. So breathe deeply and prepare to journey further into the cosmic sleep that holds us all. Have you ever wondered if your sleep, the gentle rhythm of drifting into dreams and returning to waking, might be connected to something far larger than yourself? What if the cycles of your body, the rising and falling tides of rest and wakefulness, were not only biological but cosmic reflections of patterns written across the heavens? Picture yourself standing beneath a night sky. The stars above look fixed and eternal, and yet they too are moving. The earth turns, the moon circles us, planets glide in their orbits, stars are born, live, and die in great cycles of time. And here you are, a single person, lying in bed, breathing, dreaming, carrying within you rhythms that mirror those vast celestial dances. Let us begin with the simplest connection, the cycle of day and night. Our planet spins once every 24 hours, carrying us through light and shadow. This turning is written into your biology, your circadian rhythm, a deep inner clock, sensitive to the rising and setting of the sun, guides your hormones, your body temperature, even your mood. When you fight this rhythm, staying up far into the night or forcing yourself awake before dawn, you feel the strain. But when you align with it, when your sleep follows the natural turning of Earth, you feel restored, balanced, almost as though you are in harmony, not just with yourself, but with the planet itself. And then there is the influence of the moon. For thousands of years, people have whispered that the full moon stirs sleep, that it brings vivid dreams or restless nights. Science is still debating. Some studies suggest that melatonin levels dip during the full moon. Others argue it is psychological, a relic of ancient nights when brighter skies meant more activity. But whether measured in labs or felt in your own experience, the moon's cycle of waxing and waning leaves its mark upon us. Its pull felt not only in the tides of oceans, but in the tides of our inner worlds. Have you ever noticed that your dreams sometimes feel more luminous, more charged when the moon is round and glowing, as though your subconscious is listening to that silver clock in the sky? But the cycles do not end there. Your sleep itself is patterned like a miniature universe. Each night you pass through cycles: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, repeating every 90 minutes, rising and falling like waves. In many ways, these resemble orbits. You circle back again and again, each cycle a journey deeper and then lighter. Until morning comes, it is astonishing to think that within you, as you rest, you are tracing orbits just as planets do. Your brain humming with patterns, your body guided by cosmic mathematics. Now imagine expanding further. Our sun follows its own cycles, an 11-year heartbeat of solar activity, sunspots blooming and fading, flares erupting and quieting. Scientists now know that these rhythms can affect Earth's magnetic field, and in turn may subtly influence human biology. Some studies suggest that during peaks of solar activity, sleep disturbances increase, dreams become stranger, and moods shift. Could it be that your rest each night is not entirely your own, but is, in small ways, entangled with the breath of the sun, the star that sustains us? And beyond the sun, galaxies themselves follow rhythms. Stars pulse, nebulas contract and expand. Even the mysterious heartbeat of black holes, measured in bursts of radiation, reveal a kind of cosmic sleep cycle, slow, vast, incomprehensible to human time, but cycles nonetheless. And when you lie down tonight, closing your eyes, you may take comfort in knowing that you are not an isolated being, but part of a great continuum of rhythm and rest. Your dreams are tiny echoes of galaxies breathing. Let us pause here and imagine a scene. You are floating in space. Your bed is drifting just beyond Earth's blue horizon. Below you, the planet turns, clouds swirl, the dark ocean shines with moonlight. Above you, stars glitter, each one alive with its own rhythm. And as you breathe in and out, your body sinking deeper into stillness, you realize that your breath too is a cycle. Inhale, exhale, rising, falling, as natural as the orbit of a planet, as endless as the turning of galaxies. But here's where the mystery deepens. Why do cycles comfort us so deeply? Perhaps it is because cycles promise return. Night returns to day, sleep returns to wakefulness. Stars die, but new stars are born. Even endings in the cosmos are beginnings in disguise. When you surrender to sleep, you are taking part in this eternal rhythm. You are practicing trust that morning will come again, that light will return, that life continues. Did you know that ancient cultures often linked human sleep directly to the cosmos? The Egyptians believed that dreams were messages from the realm of the stars. The Greeks saw sleep and death as siblings, children of night. Many cultures timed rituals and journeys by the phases of the moon. They understood that our inner rhythms are not separate but part of a shared cosmic song. And though modern life has filled our nights with artificial light, screens glowing and cities humming, Still, beneath it all, your body remembers. Your cells still whisper with the rhythm of Earth's turning. Your dreams still open when the world outside grows quiet. Now, let us draw even closer to the suspense. Could it be that when you sleep, you are not just repairing your body and refreshing your mind, but also syncing with something larger, a cosmic synchronization, a gentle tuning of your consciousness with the rhythm of the universe itself? And what if, in moments of deep dream, you glimpse this connection, a sense of timelessness, a sense of floating beyond your own life, into the mystery of everything as you drift now? Let yourself imagine that your sleep tonight is not only for rest, but for alignment, that every dream you enter is a way of stepping into the great pattern, that your breath is matched by the breath of stars, that your cycles are notes in a universal song, and that by surrendering, by closing your eyes, you are returning to that infinite harmony. So, as Module 9 closes, let us hold this thought gently, that sleep is never solitary. It is part of a cosmic rhythm, a rhythm that stretches from your heartbeat to the orbit of planets, to the pulse of galaxies. And in this recognition, there is peace, there is connection, there is comfort. Now, let us float forward into the next journey, where we will explore how memory, both human and cosmic, is shaped during sleep, how the universe itself, like a dreamer, remembers, forgets, and rewrites itself, and how your dreams may be echoes of that cosmic memory. Have you ever woken from a dream with a memory so vivid, a conversation so sharp, a face so alive, that for a moment you could not tell if it had truly happened, and then, as the minutes pass, that clarity dissolves like mist under sunlight, leaving you puzzled, wondering whether your mind had simply invented it, or whether, in some secret way, it had remembered something from long ago, something you had forgotten? This is the mystery of memory during sleep, for when you close your eyes each night, your brain is not silent. It is working, sorting, pruning, deciding which of today's countless impressions to keep, and which to let go, like a gardener trimming branches, or an archivist arranging books on shelves. Your mind reshapes your past every night, and with that reshaping, your future changes too. Picture yourself in an ancient library, endless corridors lined with shelves, some books worn and fragile, others new and unmarked. As you walk, librarians move silently, taking volumes from one shelf, placing them on another. Some are copied, some erased. This library is your brain at night. Every sound, every sight, every word from your day is a book waiting to be filed. And during sleep, especially during deep, slow-wave sleep, this filing takes place. Your hippocampus, that curved, seahorse-shaped part of the brain, lifts fragile new memories and places them into long-term storage, binding them with older experiences, so that when you wake, you carry a slightly different story of yourself than you had the day before. Did you know that if you are deprived of sleep, your ability to form new memories nearly collapses? Students who study all night without rest retain far less than those who sleep. Even short naps can dramatically improve recall. It is as though the brain requires these nightly hours, not for luxury, but for survival. Without them, your identity begins to blur, your story begins to fray. But here is where the suspense deepens. For memory in sleep is not a perfect archive. It is selective. It chooses what to keep, not only by importance, but by emotion. Moments that carry fear, joy, love, or shame are more likely to be replayed at night. Scientists can even see this on brain scans. Emotional memories spark in the amygdala and are then integrated into the wider network. It means that your brain is not only preserving facts, but shaping the meaning of your life, night after night. You are rewriting your autobiography, often without knowing. And then there are the strange intrusions of dreams, when memories merge with imagination, when faces of strangers appear in places you have never been. It is as though your brain is testing connections, running simulations, asking, what if? What if this moment belonged to that person? What if this fear turned into that discovery? Some neuroscientists believe this is how creativity blossoms, by blending the unlikely, by merging memory with possibility. And indeed, history is filled with creators who dreamed solutions. The structure of DNA, the invention of sewing machines, the melodies of music, all whispered in dreams, as though the brain, in its nightly editing, sometimes opens a hidden drawer of genius. But here is an even stranger thought. Memories are not fixed. Each time you recall one, you alter it, and during sleep, the brain may rewrite the past, polishing some details, softening others, filling in gaps with invention, until what you believe to be truth is part fact, part fiction. This is why eyewitness testimony is so fragile. Why two people remembering the same event may tell different stories. Because memory is alive, and nowhere is it more alive than in sleep. Now, let us step into a poetic reflection. Imagine your life as a vast tapestry, threads of every day woven together, some bright with joy, others dark with sorrow. And each night, as you rest, invisible hands adjust the weave, pulling threads tighter, loosening knots, adding colors you did not know were there. When you wake, the tapestry looks the same, and yet it has changed, subtly, silently. You carry a new pattern forward, never to be quite the same again. There is comfort in this thought, that memory is not a static burden, but a living story, that sleep is not simply rest, but the writing of tomorrow. Because, in choosing which memories to keep, your brain is choosing who you are becoming. Every night, you are not only resting, you are being rewritten. But let us stretch the imagination further. What if memory in sleep is not only personal? What if it is also cosmic? Some physicists whisper that the universe itself has memory, that particles carry traces of where they have been, that black holes may store the information of everything they consume, that the fabric of space-time itself remembers. If that is true, then perhaps your memory-making brain is a mirror of the universe's own process. Perhaps when you sleep, you are echoing the way reality itself preserves and edits its past, a small version of a greater mystery. And so, as we close Module 10, think of yourself tonight not simply as someone drifting into rest, but as a storyteller, a dreamer weaving memory, a living library, whose shelves are dusted and rearranged by the quiet labor of the night. When you awaken, you will carry a different version of your life, one shaped by dreams you may not even recall. And this is both humbling and wondrous, because it means you are never fixed. You are always in motion, always being gently transformed by sleep. Now, let your eyes grow heavier, let your breath slow, for the next journey will take us deeper still. into how sleep not only shapes memory, but may hold secrets of forgetting, of why the brain chooses to let certain things go, and how forgetting might be just as important as remembering. Have you ever wondered why you forget most of your dreams? You wake with a vivid picture, colors, voices, emotions that feel as solid as stone, and within minutes they dissolve, vanishing into the background of your mind, almost as though they were never there at all. Why does the brain work so hard to create dream worlds, only to erase them by morning? Picture yourself holding water in your hands, cool and refreshing. For a moment it stays, glistening in the moonlight, and then, slowly, it slips through your fingers. This is what dreams are like. This is what memory can be like. Not everything is meant to stay. Some things are designed to pass through you, leaving only a trace of coolness on your skin. Science tells us that forgetting is not a flaw, it is a function. Your brain holds far more impressions than you could ever consciously keep. Every word you hear, every glance you take, every sound that echoes past you, if you remembered it all, your mind would be unbearably cluttered, like a room filled with endless piles of paper. No space to move, no space to breathe. Forgetting clears the room. It makes space for what matters. Deep in your brain, there are mechanisms that prune connections at night. Synapses that strengthened during the day are carefully weakened again. A kind of nightly housekeeping, so that only the strongest, the most meaningful connections survive. This pruning, though invisible, is vital. Without it, memories would pile up chaotically. Your brain would lose its ability to focus, to prioritize, to live. Did you know that infants dream far more than adults? Their sleep filled with neural activity, their brains flooded with new connections. But as they grow, the pruning begins. Billions of connections are lost, not as a tragedy, but as a refinement. The mind choosing clarity over noise, and in this way, forgetting becomes a form of learning, a silent teacher shaping thought by removing excess. Yet, here lies the suspense. What does it mean that you forget most of your dreams? Is it simply because they were meaningless, or is it because dreams work best when left unremembered? Some scientists suggest that dreams act as an emotional rehearsal, a place to process fear or hope without the burden of recall. That if you carried every dream into waking life, the border between reality and imagination might dissolve. Others whisper that dreams may contain fragments too raw, too intense to be carried, that forgetting is a mercy, a way of protecting you from being overwhelmed. But there is more. Memory itself is selective, and so is forgetting. Experiments have shown that people often forget painful details while keeping the lesson. The sting of rejection fades, but the wisdom to tread carefully remains. In this way, forgetting is not erasure, it is refinement, like polishing a stone until only its essential shape remains. Perhaps this is why some dreams fade quickly, while others haunt you for years, your brain deciding, this one is important, this one must stay. Now let us step into a poetic reflection. Imagine your mind as a vast night garden. During the day, seeds are scattered everywhere. Ideas, conversations, images, emotions. By night, gardeners move through the paths, pulling weeds, letting only the strongest flowers grow. By morning, you see only the blossoms. The forgotten seeds vanish into the soil. But they were not wasted. They nourished the earth. They made the garden richer, even if you cannot see them. There is a deep comfort in this thought, that forgetting is not loss, but balance, that each morning you awaken lighter, because your mind has carried away the unnecessary weight, leaving you freer, more open to what comes next. And when you forget a dream, perhaps it is not gone. Perhaps it has simply dissolved into your subconscious, becoming part of the hidden soil from which tomorrow's thoughts will grow. But here is the question that lingers. What if forgetting is not just a brain function, but a cosmic law? Stars forget their fuel, burning until the memory of light is gone. Galaxies forget their shapes, collapsing into new forms. Even the universe itself may one day forget, as energy thins, as time stretches, as memory fades into silence. If the cosmos forgets, why should we not? And yet, just as the universe creates anew after each forgetting, so do we, every night, every morning, beginning again now. As you listen with your body sinking deeper into calm, think of forgetting not as emptiness, but as release. You are letting go, so that new memories can take root, so that life can keep unfolding. Tonight, as your dreams form and fade, trust the wisdom of your mind. It knows what to keep and what to carry gently away, and in that balance, you will find rest. And so Module 11 closes with a whisper that forgetting is not failure, it is a gift, a soft erasure that makes space for tomorrow. As we move forward, we will step into another mystery: how sleep connects not only to memory and forgetting, but to creativity. The strange way your dreaming mind becomes an artist, a scientist, a poet, while you rest, and how those midnight sparks can shape the waking world in ways you might never expect. Have you ever woken with a sudden idea, a thought so clear, so strange, so new, that you wondered where it had come from? Perhaps it was a melody, perhaps the solution to a problem, perhaps a picture you had never drawn before, and for a moment you felt as though you had received a gift, something delivered to you by the silence of the night. Creativity in sleep has fascinated scientists and artists alike. Why should the brain, when freed from the world, become a painter, a poet, an inventor? Why should the sleeping mind, untethered by rules, whisper ideas that the waking mind cannot reach? Picture yourself in a great, dimly lit theater. The curtain rises and scenes unfold, not of familiar plays, but of impossible ones. Characters appear who should not exist. Landscapes form that bend the laws of physics. The story leaps and changes without warning, and yet, somehow, it all makes sense in the moment. This is the stage of dreams, where creativity thrives, where your mind rehearses not just memory, but imagination. Science tells us that during REM sleep, your brain makes connections it would never risk during the day. Neurons fire across distant networks, linking unrelated memories, combining fragments into new patterns. It is like shuffling a deck of cards, and suddenly finding a hand no one has ever played before. In fact, brain scans show that REM sleep activates regions tied to association and insight, the very essence of creative thought. Did you know that many of history's greatest breakthroughs came through dreams? Mary Shelley dreamed of a creature brought to life and awoke to write Frankenstein. Dmitri Mendeleev saw the periodic table arranged before him in a dream. Otto Loewy, a scientist, dreamed of an experiment involving frog hearts, and upon waking, performed it, winning a Nobel Prize for discovering neurotransmitters. It seems almost impossible, and yet it is true. The brain, when dreaming, becomes an inventor, a prophet of possibilities. But here lies the suspense. If dreams can create, are they truly ours, or are they borrowed? Some cultures believe dreams are gifts from spirits. Others see them as messages from ancestors. Carl Jung believed they tapped into a collective unconscious, a shared well of archetypes and imagery that belongs to humanity itself. When you dream of flying, or of falling, or of wandering endless corridors, perhaps you are touching something that millions before you have touched. Perhaps creativity in sleep is not only personal, but universal. Now imagine this scene. You are walking through a vast museum at night, the halls empty, the lights dim, but the paintings and sculptures glow softly as though alive. Each work of art is a dream someone once carried, each invention, each story, a fragment of night turned into daylight. And as you wander, you realize that humanity itself is shaped by sleep, that our greatest creations, our songs, our equations, our machines, carry the fingerprints of dreams. But why does the dreaming brain dare where the waking brain does not? The answer may lie in inhibition. During the day, your frontal lobe is a guardian, filtering, censoring, stopping you from saying something absurd, from imagining something too far, from connecting things that do not belong. At night, that guardian relaxes, the barriers fall, and ideas flow like rivers, merging, some nonsensical, some brilliant, all free. And among them, occasionally, a spark ignites, a spark that survives the dawn, and yet most of these sparks fade, which brings us to a haunting truth. How many inventions, how many songs, how many stories have been lost because their dreamer forgot them upon waking? How many mornings carried an unremembered masterpiece, vanished before the coffee cup touched the lips? It makes one wonder. Are dreams full of secrets that slip away not because they are useless, but because they are too fragile, too delicate to survive the harshness of waking thought? Let us pause here and drift into a poetic reflection. Creativity in dreams is like lightning over the ocean, brief, dazzling, illuminating what is hidden beneath. You do not control it, you cannot command it, but you can witness it, and sometimes, if you are lucky, you carry a spark of it back with you, and it changes your world. A line in a poem, a sketch on paper, a new way of seeing your life. Isn't it beautiful to think that when you rest, when you surrender, you become an artist, even if you never call yourself one? Your brain paints, sculpts, and composes. Every night, every dream. Perhaps that is why some dreams feel so poignant, as though you have glimpsed a masterpiece within yourself. One you can never quite describe, but which still leaves its mark. And perhaps there is something more mysterious still. What if dreams are not only inventions of the brain, but doors to ideas waiting outside of us? What if creativity is less about making and more about receiving, attuning into a frequency that hums through the universe? When you dream, maybe you step closer to that signal, closer to the source, and what you carry back is not just your imagination, but the echo of a deeper truth. So, as we close Module 12, think of yourself tonight as more than a sleeper. Think of yourself as a dreamer, an artist, painting on the canvas of your mind. Even if you forget the strokes, The painting remains in the depth of you, shaping your thoughts, shaping your choices, shaping your life. And who knows, perhaps tonight a spark will come, one that you carry into tomorrow, one that will light a fire and change everything. Now let your body grow heavier, let your breath deepen, for in the next journey we will step beyond creativity and into mystery itself. We will ask why dreams sometimes seem to predict, why they sometimes mirror reality before it happens, and whether, in the quiet of sleep, time itself might bend just enough to let us glimpse what is yet to come. Have you ever dreamed of something, only to see it happen later? Perhaps a conversation, perhaps a place you had never visited, perhaps even a moment of great importance. And in that instant, you wondered, was this simply coincidence? Or had my dream reached forward into time? The idea of prophetic dreams is as old as humanity itself. Ancient kings consulted dream interpreters. Priests and shamans listened to visions that came at night. Whole battles were won or lost on the faith placed in a single dream. And though science approaches the subject cautiously, the question remains, why do dreams sometimes mirror the future? Picture yourself walking through a long hallway, the walls lined with clocks, each ticking softly, but some running faster, others slower, some turning backward altogether. You walk slowly, listening to the overlapping rhythms, realizing that time itself may not be as steady as we believe. Perhaps dreams walk these corridors, slipping between doors we cannot open while awake. From a scientific perspective, precognitive dreams may seem unlikely, and yet countless stories persist. Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his own assassination. Many survivors of disasters have reported dreams foretelling them. Writers have claimed to dream of events before they unfolded in their lives. Some skeptics dismiss these as coincidences, the mind remembering hits and forgetting misses. Yet even cautious researchers admit the persistence of these accounts is striking. What if time is not a straight line, but more like a river with eddies and loops? Our waking life floats downstream, one direction, one moment after another. But dreams may drift sideways into currents that circle, carrying fragments of what lies ahead, back to us in whispers, a glimpse, a symbol, a feeling of déjà vu, as though you have been here before, because, perhaps, in some sense, you have. Did you know that the brain, during sleep, processes not only the past, but runs countless simulations of possible futures? Neural networks predicting, filling in the blanks, anticipating what might come from this perspective. A prophetic dream could be the brain's way of preparing, testing possibilities. A coincidence, perhaps, but no less mysterious, for it suggests that even in rest, the mind is rehearsing the future. But then, consider another possibility, one that lingers on the edge of both science and wonder. Quantum physics suggests that time is not as fixed as we believe. Particles can be entangled across distances. Events can appear to ripple backward as well as forward. Could it be that consciousness, untethered in sleep, touches this quantum strangeness, seeing echoes of what has not yet arrived? If so, dreams may be more than imagination. They may be windows, thin and fleeting, into the fabric of time itself. Now let us step into a gentle scene. Imagine standing in a field at dusk, the sky painted in fading colors, and before you, fireflies drift, some glowing in patterns that seem random. And yet, after watching closely, you begin to see the rhythm, a signal, a pattern hidden in the flicker. Dreams may be like those fireflies, moments of the future glowing in the dark, their meaning only clear when seen from the right perspective. Poets have long embraced the mystery, calling dreams the messengers of fate, the whispers of destiny, the theater of the soul. And perhaps there is a truth in poetry that science has not yet measured. Perhaps the language of dreams is not logical, but symbolic, a language of metaphor, of hidden meaning, so that when a dream seems to predict, it does so not in literal terms, but in symbols that resonate when the moment finally arrives. Think of the times you have experienced déjà vu, that strange sensation of reliving a moment, as though the present is overlapping with the past. Or perhaps with a dream, science suggests it may be a glitch in memory. But could it not also be the echo of a dream? A dream that brushed against the thread of time, so that when reality finally arrives, it feels familiar, because it has already been lived once before. In the fragile theater of sleep, now, let us turn toward reflection. Prophetic dreams, whether real or imagined, remind us that time may hold more mystery than we believe. They invite us to see sleep not as a prison of unconsciousness, but as a voyage through deeper waters, where currents bend, where possibilities shimmer, where the future may sometimes cast shadows backward and touch us before it arrives. There is comfort in this thought, for it suggests that we are not blind wanderers, that in the darkness of sleep we are given glimpses, hints, whispers of what is to come, not to frighten us, but perhaps to prepare us, to remind us that our lives are woven into a larger fabric, one in which past, present, and future are threads interlaced, not divided, not separate. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself stepping into a vast library, each book a dream, some recounting the past, some reflecting the present, and some, astonishingly, seeming to tell the stories of tomorrow. You do not need to read them all. You do not need to understand them fully. You need only to walk among them, trusting that somewhere in those shelves the story of your future already waits, and perhaps your dreaming mind will borrow a page tonight. So now let your body sink deeper, let your breath fall into rhythm, and prepare for the next chapter. For in the journey ahead we will move from prophecy into the even greater mystery of identity. Who are you when you dream? Are you yourself? Or are you something greater? And if dreams bend time, perhaps they also bend the boundaries of the self, revealing the many layers of who you truly are. Have you ever dreamed of being someone else, not simply watching through your own eyes, but inhabiting another body, speaking with another voice, living a life that does not belong to you? And yet, in the moment, it felt perfectly natural. You were both you and not you, a hidden identity emerging from the shadows of sleep. The question rises like a tide. Who are you in your dreams? Is it truly you, the same person who wakes each morning? Or does sleep unlock a hidden gallery of selves, versions that exist only in the night? And if so, what does that say about the boundaries of identity? Close your eyes and picture this, a grand hall of mirrors stretching endlessly, each mirror reflecting not your waking face, but different faces, different forms, some familiar, some strange, some ancient, some from a future not yet lived. This is the hall of the dreaming self, a place where the limits of identity dissolve, and you wander freely among infinite possibilities. Science has long been intrigued by this phenomenon. Neuroscientists know that dreams are not mere chaos. They are carefully woven simulations created by the brain. But why should those simulations so often give us roles we have never known? Some studies suggest that dreams tap into memory fragments, mixing pieces of stories, faces, voices, until we temporarily believe ourselves to be someone new. Yet others argue it is more profound, that the dreaming self explores archetypes, universal characters imprinted in the human psyche, warriors, healers, wanderers, rulers, shadows of humanity's collective imagination, and in dreams we become them. Think of the times you have been the observer in your dream, watching your own body from afar, or perhaps becoming a stranger entirely, moving through a city you have never visited, carrying memories that dissolve as you wake. This suggests that the brain, when freed from its waking anchor of self, experiments with identity itself, a rehearsal not just of actions, but of being. Did you know that some philosophers believe the self is not fixed, but fluid, a shifting story we tell ourselves each day? Dreams may reveal this truth by pulling back the curtain, showing that the narrator of your life is not singular, but many. That identity is more like a symphony, with countless instruments rising and falling, and in dreams, the conductor steps aside, letting new voices take the stage. There is a suspenseful beauty in this. For if you can be someone else in your dream, what does that mean about who you truly are? Are you the sum of all those hidden versions? Or are you only the one who opens their eyes each morning? Perhaps identity is not as simple as a name or a face. Perhaps it is a vast landscape, and sleep is the map that shows its unseen regions. Now imagine standing in a library at night, but unlike the library of prophecy, this one holds masks, shelves and shelves of them. Each mask a different self, some worn often, some almost forgotten, some waiting still to be discovered when you dream. It is as though you lift one mask and wear it, and for that night, that is who you are, until morning comes and the mask is set back on the shelf. Psychologists call this ego dissolution, the temporary fading of the rigid boundary of self. In waking life, it can happen in meditation, in states of flow, even in moments of deep awe. But in dreams, it is natural, common, effortless, a reminder that the self you cling to so tightly may only be one costume among many. But let us step deeper into the spiritual whispers. Many traditions believe that in dreams we meet our past selves, or even our future selves. Some say reincarnation memories bleed through the fabric of sleep. Others believe we walk into parallel lives, universes where we made different choices, universes where we became someone else entirely. If time bends in dreams, as we explored before, perhaps identity bends too, allowing us to glimpse the many versions of who we might be. Poetically, it is beautiful to think that within you lives not just one self, but 1,000, the warrior, the poet, the healer, the wanderer, the dreamer, and in dreams, they all come forward to remind you that you are not limited, that you are more vast than your waking story. Suspense lingers in the question, when you dream of being someone else, Are you inventing or remembering? Is it fantasy? Or is it a truth glimpsed from another thread of existence? If your mind can create lives so vivid, so convincing, perhaps those lives are not only imagined, but lived somewhere, somehow. Now let your thoughts soften into reflection. The dreaming self teaches us that identity is fluid, that you are not bound by the edges of who you think you are. Instead, you are a traveler, moving through masks and mirrors, through halls of endless selves, each dream a doorway, each dream a possibility. And in that fluidity lies comfort, because it means you are not trapped. You are not fixed. You are a river, and the river flows. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, imagine the hall of mirrors. Imagine the shelves of masks, and know that whichever self steps forward, it is a part of you. It is real in its own way, and it adds to the vastness of who you are. For in dreams, you are not small. You are endless, and as we close this module, let yourself grow heavier, your body sinking deeper into rest, for in the next journey, we will explore not just who you are, but where you go, the landscapes of dreams, the cities, the forests, the oceans, the strange architectures of the mind, and whether, in those dreamscapes, we are building worlds or visiting ones that already exist. Have you ever woken from a dream and felt as though you had traveled somewhere real? A city of endless streets, a forest filled with glowing light, an ocean so vast you could taste the salt on your lips. And when you opened your eyes, you wondered, where was I? Was that place merely a creation of my mind? Or did I, in sleep, step into another world? Dreams are not only stories, they are landscapes, constructed with breathtaking detail. Mountains rise, rivers flow, skies shift from day to night. In moments, entire buildings stand tall, some familiar, some impossible, and yet, within the dream, you accept them. You walk their streets, you climb their stairs, you breathe their air as if it were your own. Now picture yourself standing at the edge of a dream city. The streets glow with lantern light, shadows flicker. The architecture shifts as you gaze upon it. Walls bending, windows multiplying, alleys stretching longer than they should. And though you know this city is not of earth, it feels alive. It hums with the weight of meaning, as though thousands of stories have already been told here. Stories you cannot remember, but can almost feel. Science tells us that dreamscapes are the brain's way of constructing environments from fragments of memory. A cafe you once passed years ago merged with a street you saw in a film, stitched together into something new. The hippocampus, the brain's memory architect, is busy during dreams, piecing together these landscapes with surprising accuracy, so that the floor feels solid beneath your feet. The wind rustles leaves as it would in waking life. The details are so precise that you cannot help but wonder if the mind is less inventing and more remembering. Did you know that many dreamers report recurring locations? The same house appearing in different dreams, the same train station, the same forest clearing, even across years. This phenomenon suggests the brain may hold onto dream maps, returning you to places it has built before. Some researchers believe these recurring landscapes represent neural patterns, familiar structures your brain reuses, but others whisper of something stranger, that perhaps these worlds are not built, but visited, that perhaps dreams are doors, and the same door can be opened again and again. Now, imagine this. A dreamer drifts into sleep and walks the streets of a city they have never seen. Decades later, another dreamer, on the other side of the world, dreams of the same city, the same towers, the same plaza. Neither knows the other, but both wake with the same descriptions. This has been reported more often than you might expect. Dream researchers call it shared dreaming, though science has no clear explanation. And yet, it leaves a haunting question. What if some dreamscapes are not private, but communal worlds we enter together? Without knowing, poets have always suspected this, writing of dreamlands as real realms, from ancient myths of gods visiting mortals in sleep, to the surreal landscapes painted by Salvador Dali. The suspicion lingers that in dreams we are not only imaginations, but explorers, traveling into terrains our waking bodies cannot reach. And let us not forget the suspenseful detail that some dream landscapes feel more real than reality itself. Have you felt this? The air sharper, the colors more vivid, the emotions deeper. Some neuroscientists explain this by saying the dreaming brain amplifies emotion. But others admit there are dreams so real they defy explanation, leaving the dreamer shaken, convinced they stepped into another dimension. Now, let us walk further into this reflection. What if the landscapes of dreams are infinite? A multiverse within the mind, or perhaps a multiverse beyond it. Each dream a doorway, each sleep a voyage. Some worlds strange and fleeting, others solid enough to hold you night after night. Like an unseen second life, you live in secret. Imagine yourself now in a vast dream forest. The trees taller than cathedrals, the leaves glowing faintly like lanterns. A path winds ahead, leading to a river of silver light. You hear distant voices, not frightening, but inviting, as if the forest itself remembers you, as if you have been here before, and perhaps you have. For dreamscapes are places that hold you, even when you forget them. Suspense lingers in the possibility. If dreams are real places, who builds them? Is it the mind alone? Or is the mind a traveler, stepping into dimensions that exist whether we visit them or not? And if others visit too, could we meet there? Could we recognize one another as though two sleepers had crossed paths in a city of the night? Philosophers suggest that the landscapes of dreams mirror the landscapes of the soul, the city representing your thoughts, the forest your emotions, the ocean your unconscious depths. And in this view, the dream world is both external and internal, both map and mirror, both discovery and creation, the terrain of your inner cosmos made visible. But there is comfort in this as well, for it means that when you dream of oceans, you are touching the vastness of yourself. When you dream of forests, you are walking among your own roots. When you dream of mountains, you are climbing the heights of your own potential. The landscapes remind you you are larger than your waking story. You are an entire world waiting to be explored. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, think of the landscapes that await. Perhaps a familiar street will return. Perhaps a new world will open its gates. You need not control it. You need not understand it. You need only walk gently through its paths, knowing that whether invented or discovered, each dreamscape carries meaning. Each dreamscape carries a piece of you. And as we close this module, Let yourself imagine that the next place you go in your dreams might be more than fantasy. It might be a memory of another life, a visit to another world, or a journey into the deeper layers of your own soul. Whatever it is waiting for you, softly, patiently, just beyond the edge of waking thought. Now sink deeper, let your breath slow, for in the next chapter, we will step not only into dream worlds, but into the bridges between them, lucid dreaming, where the dreamer awakens within the dream and learns to wander the dreamscape with open eyes, a traveler fully aware, walking worlds of night with the clarity of day.